Hello and welcome back to the Snickerdoodle Knits YouTube channel. I'm excited to see you here on the channel. I have knitting tutorial videos, I have design over videos talking about each of my pattern designs, I have some featured designer interviews, as well as the Pattern Design Circle podcast for knit and crochet pattern designers. But today I have a new pattern to tell you about. So super excited to share the Perfectly Amiable Cowl with you. This is a simple Mosaic Colorwork cowl design. So if you're not familiar with Mosaic Colorwork, the reason Mosaic Colorwork often feels simpler than regular stranded colorwork is because you only use one color at a time. So when you're not using a color, you just slip the stitches for that color and then you come back to them in the next round or row. I have a whole tutorial on mosaic knitting. I'll link it down below. It's also linked in the pattern, so you can check that out. But it's a really fun way to do color work without having to manage multiple colors at a time, and it can feel like a easier way to get into color work as a newer colorwork knitter. So this cowl design, the pattern has 3 sizes. This is the small size. This is supposed to be the medium size, but I was having too much fun knitting, so I did an extra repeat. So it is the circumference of the medium size. It is the length of the large size. I didn't even realize it until it was in the end of tech editing, actually. And my test knitters had already, well, it was after tech editing, after testing, just before publication for the third party that I published it with. So this was my first design that I ever made for a third party publisher. I'm used to self-publishing my patterns, which means that I just always put my patterns out into the world. This was for the Knitter's Planner, which includes in their yearly annual planner, it includes a series of knitting patterns included in the planner. So this was one of 4 patterns in the 2023 planner. And so rights have reverted back to me, so I'm able to share it with you as well, even if you didn't get the planner. So the pattern includes both written instructions and charted instructions, as my patterns always do, but because this is such a simple pattern, the pattern is so short and the charted instructions aren't that much different, I've gone ahead and included the charted instructions in the written instructions. I typically have them split for printing purposes, but with this pattern, it didn't change page count at all to just stick the chart into the written instructions. So it is, in my mind, an addicting knit. It's really fun. I think it's one of those potato chip knitting projects where I just keep saying one more round. It's a lot of fun to mix and match colors. If you want a lower contrast between colors so the pattern isn't as obvious, absolutely go for it. Just choose colors of lower contrast. And one simple way to determine whether the contrast is high or low is to take a picture of the colors together. So like say you have the 2 skeins of yarn, take a side-by-side picture of them, change the filter on your phone to black and white for that photo, and then if they appear to be like the same shade of gray, that's a low contrast. If they appear to be like a really light and a really dark gray, those are high contrast colors. So this yarn is, it's designed with DK weight, the best yarn weight out there. This is designed with at Haynes House Community DK weight yarn in November Baby and Perfectly Amiable. I think that's the correct order. Terry is the yarn dyer at Hane's house, but her husband Brian also helps her. And today we are releasing this pattern because it's his birthday, November 11th. So wish him a happy birthday at Hane's house. Check them out on Instagram. I can link them down in the description as well. But November Baby is a colorway that is in part for Brian. And Terry said that Brian is for Mr. Darcy. So anyway, that is the Perfectly Amiable Cowl. Like I said, it has 3 different sizes. You can also adjust the length, as I've done with this one, by doing more or less repeats. And you could adjust the circumference as well if you don't like any of the 3 options. This is a small, this is the medium, so the large is a little bit bigger, by adjusting the repeat count. And yeah, so check out the pattern. I'll link it in the description down below. It'll be available on Ravelry, my website, etc. And again, there's the mosaic knitting video tutorial, if that is helpful for you. So super excited for you if you've never tried mosaic knitting to test it out. And if you have used mosaic knitting and you love it, super excited for you to be able to work it up. I can't wait to see your beautiful color combinations. I also have some yarn color recommendations linked in the pattern. So the mosaic tutorial, the yarn recommendations, they're also all linked in the pattern. Alrighty, I can't wait to talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.